Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Finally, some much-needed rain last night. We were watching that radar late as those storms moved through, but thankfully everything behaved. The only one storm that caused some problems, a big hail producer that moved across Marion County, but the rest of us, just some beneficial rainfall, and that's all out of here now. Our attention turns to some colder air that's going to be moving in for tonight. We're talking lows back in the 40s. Let's get to those First Alert Weather headlines. And tonight, 40s, a few weekend showers possible. And next week, well, we talked about that possibility of frost, but how about the possibility of a light freeze? That's right. Some of the data coming in even colder. So we're going to get into that coming up here in a few moments. So a beautiful day out there after all the rainfall. 71 in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, Montevallo at 70. But look at that sky. Not a cloud in sight out there. It's going to stay mostly clear for tonight, and the temperatures dropping into the 70s. We had a lovely sunset view earlier. I had the camera there turned back towards that direction at Southern Sky Aviation. That's at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. If you ever fly in there, winds north-northwest at 10 miles per hour. But notice the air, dew points in the 40s. That's telling us it's much drier. Yesterday we had dew points in the 50s, even 60s across our area with that rainy setup. But radar much quieter for us out there at the moment. And temperature-wise, you can see it's starting to really drop off quickly. Haleyville at 64, Coleman right now down to 61. So a pretty good chance again overnight tonight as we walk through that hourly forecast. 8 o'clock showing average temperatures close to 60, and then by 10 o'clock in the 50s, and then early tomorrow morning to start the day, chilly 40s early on. Now we won't see frost tomorrow morning, although you will need that light jacket. The rest of the day tomorrow looks fantastic. I mean, by lunchtime we're up to 71. Afternoon temperatures in the 70s, a perfect afternoon to head out to the pumpkin patch. Those winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. But as we look ahead, could be maybe a few showers this weekend, but one of the next big things that we're going to be talking about is a blast of cold air that's going to impact the eastern third of the country. And look at this cold air. It is that express right out of the north, and it looks like by early Wednesday morning, early Thursday morning, that freezing line, and those are the freezing temperatures right there. That could drop into far north Alabama. I mean, look at this. Now, this is early in the game, so as we get a little bit closer to the event, typically in the long range, the models come in a little bit too cold, but this is enough to tell us that we're going to see some frost at least, and the possibility of a light freeze across parts of our area. And again, that would be for the middle portion of next week. Want to bring in meteorologist JP Dice. And JP, it's good to have you with us here on First Alert Weather Extra on this Thursday. And JP standing by from the home weather office. And JP, it's interesting this season that we're already talking about a light freeze. Typically, you know, it's more towards the end of October.
Yeah, just a few days ago, you guys actually put out a graphic talking about those first frost dates across the state, and we may be looking at that first frost coming up next week, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, depending on what model you believe is going to be how cold it gets. The GFS, the American model, typically has a pretty good handle on the temperatures, in my opinion, taking those temps down into the mid to upper 30s. A few other models, you get into the Euro, and it takes temperatures down just a little bit colder. But on average, I think next week we will have frost in parts of the area, and those temperatures down, of course, into the mid 30s. And what a system that we had come in last night. Of course, that system moved through and cleared things out just in time for the upcoming weekend. But quite the fanfare last night as that system rolled in during the overnight hours, or at least the main part of it. We had some rain and storms earlier in the day as well.
Yeah, and I went through the computer here, JP, and actually brought up that map. It shows that first frost date you were talking about, October 30th. You see northern Jefferson County. I mean, we're already talking next week, and we're even seeing November for parts of the area. There's a chance our entire area to the south, we could see some of that frosty weather. So, but, yeah, let's jump into that. You know, you were talking about last night that system that moved through. The Drought Monitor popped up today and showed that parts of the area were in a moderate drought. So, I mean, this couldn't have timed out more perfectly.
Yeah, we certainly needed the rain, and there was a bit of a severe weather threat with that system last night. Had some gusty winds, and we started seeing those pictures coming in yesterday of the hail reports, especially around Marion County, around the Hamilton area. You get back into Mississippi yesterday, had some tornado warnings. But yeah, that was a pretty rambunctious system. The good news out of all of that, it did manage to drop some rain. You had some rain during the day, some pretty heavy rain, and then we had the main line itself come through during the overnight hours. And it had been several weeks since we had rain, and as you mentioned, the Drought Monitor really showing things turning for the worst around here. And we're also looking at issues with forest fires, wildfires, and that sort of thing. So we certainly need the rain, but it looks like we're now setting back up for a fairly dry period. May see a little bit of rain late weekend into early next week, but overall not quite as impactful in terms of rain as what we had last week. The big news on the radar as we look ahead is going to be those colder temperatures. And if you remember, the Climate Prediction Center, the overall theme as we go from, say, the end of September through December, they had that graphic out looking at slightly above average temperatures overall. But I can tell you in the short term, I think those temperatures will be trending below average across this part of the state.
Well, final thing I want to talk to you about, JP, and you and I, we forecasted, Jill and the weather team here, we forecast a lot of these events where we do have, looking back at yesterday, the possibility of storms. It's a marginal day. It's a slight risk kind of day. And when that big tornado that struck Jefferson County, the northern part of the county, you get up into Fultondale and those areas that were heavily impacted, that tornado happened on one of those low risk kind of days. So, we really have to, it's such a touchy subject because, you don't want to over alarm, but there's some days like that where we do have that very marginal risk that could produce one troublemaker, one bad storm.
That's right. We've seen that before. And you're speaking of the Fultondale tornado a couple of years ago that late at night, about 10:40, we were wrapping up with the news. We were both there in the weather office, and we had the tornado that touched down and hit the hotel there and did some damage to some homes in that neighborhood just to the east there of where the hotel is in Fultondale. So yeah, on a marginal day, typically you don't see a whole lot. Most of the time you see very little in the way of any kind of damage. But a marginal day can bring you that rare instance where you get a tornado develop, and that tornado can hit in an area with a pretty good population, and you can have some significant damage. As we say sometimes in the weather business, all it takes is one out there. So that's why you kind of need to pay attention even on the marginal days. It's not one of those situations typically where you have to shut everything down and cancel your plans, but you certainly need to stay close to weather information for any changes. On occasion, there are some surprises that happen. Most of the time, that's not the case, but it is something that you need to stay vigilant, have your weather app, have a NOAA weather radio, have multiple ways to get warnings, as we like to say.
A great way to put it there. Will you be impacted, or will we see severe weather on those marginal days? Well, it's more unlikely, but worth monitoring, right?
That's right.
All right, JP, well, always great checking in with you, and thankfully last night, no severe storm damage, or we had a couple of warnings out there and some much-needed rainfall, and we're going to talk about how that rain will impact the Drought Monitor as we continue right here on First Alert Weather Extra. And also coming up, meteorologist Fred Hunter is going to talk about weather's impact on muscadines and lots of events, including Kentucky, and we'll check in on those college football forecasts as we roll on right here on First Alert Weather Extra.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
And being another set of eyes looking out for your kids and your family.
Getting to the bottom of health and billing issues that may be hidden in the fine print.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home.
WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. In your community, giving you a deeper perspective with the largest team dedicated to you. Showing new stories from overnight, helping you get through your day. With First Alert Weather and traffic, getting to the point, not wasting your time. These are your mornings. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When moments turn severe, how do you find clarity?
This is your first alert from the WBRC Fox 6 weather team. We're with you as we prepare for this threat.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert wherever you are. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Live, new, and on your side, beginning at 9 p.m. In a day filled with clutter and noise, WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else. With new updates, live and on the scene, answers for your money and your livelihood, with 6 on Your Side investigates. And your first alert for the hours and days ahead with the WBRC First Alert Weather Team. On your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10. On your side.
Welcome back, everyone, to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm First Alert meteorologist Jill Gilardi here. And yes, we've been talking about that beneficial rain we've received over the past 48 hours, and the amounts have been, outstanding. We needed this desperately. Again, some of the amounts over the past 48 hours were in that 1 to 2 inch range most places, but on a localized level, we had 3 to 4 to as much as 5 inches. And for much more on that, weather watchers reported, and also an update on that drought, we sent it over to meteorologist Matt Daniel.
We had some much needed rainfall over the past 24 to 48 hours, and I want to show you some of these weather watcher reports showing how much rain we've seen in a lot of areas. Picked up about 1 to 3 inches of rainfall out of Trussville. Tyler Young reporting over 3 1/4 inches of rain. Same in Cordova by Kenneth Wilkinson. Out of Concord, John reporting over 2.5 inches of rainfall, and just a little less than 2 inches in Columbiana, Oakman, Alabaster, and in Coker. So we needed the rain. It's been 3-4 weeks without significant rainfall, so it's been nice to see this. These are some of the reports as of yesterday of how much rain we've seen. Of course, a lot of the rain fell after midnight, so these numbers will adjust later on tonight as we get that information from the National Weather Service. But just from yesterday alone, we picked up almost an inch of rainfall in Birmingham, 1/2 inch in Tuscaloosa, and 1/2 inch. But like I said, these numbers are going to be a little bit higher after the overnight round of rain we saw earlier this morning. But on average, we'll pick up about 3 1/4 to 3 1/2 inches of rain for the month of October. And October, typically our driest month of the year, so it's not unusual to see a dry weather pattern in place. I want to note, though, we have the latest drought monitor, and it can be a little deceiving because it's really picking up information before we had that rain. It was issued this morning, but it doesn't count the rainfall we saw yesterday and overnight. So as you can see, the drought's pretty expansive all across the United States, especially the central U.S. into the western U.S., and it has expanded across the southeastern U.S. as well prior to all the rain that we've seen. So you can see, zooming in parts of Alabama, we had a moderate drought develop in Jefferson and Shelby, into Bibb and Chilton counties, and the western parts of Coosa counties, and also at a moderate drought developing in northwest Alabama. And of course, yellow everywhere else across the state, indicating abnormally dry conditions. So just look at how the drought has really ramped up over the past month or so. Early September, we were in great shape, and then last week we were seeing lots of those yellows indicating abnormally dry conditions. And then you just go into this week prior to the rain we've seen, and pretty much all the state either seeing abnormally dry conditions to moderate drought conditions. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see next week's update once it gets all that rain we've recorded to show what's happened across the state. So what about the rainfall potential over the next 7 days? Not seeing much in the way of rain. We could see some small rain chances going into the weekend as a cold front moves in, but it looks like the greatest chance for rain is going to be to our west and to our north and east. So we're looking pretty dry going into next week. Of course, temperatures expected to cool down, and of course we'll have more updates about that coming up right here on Extra.
Thanks for that, Matt. Well, we all know about the weather extremes everyone has been through this year, and these wild swings have certainly impacted agriculture, from too much rain to extreme heat to below normal rainfall. In tonight's Absolutely Alabama Weather Extra, Fred Hunter takes us to Wills Creek Vineyards and Winery, where the full muscadine harvest is underway.
Welcome to another Absolutely Alabama Weather Extra. I'm here with John Copay here at Wills Creek Winery and Vineyards. John, everyone deals with the weather. Talk about the challenges you get when you're growing. Tell us what we're looking at here.
Well, actually, we have 2 rows of different varieties of muscadines. This is the one that we use, the dark one that we use to make red wine. It's our favorite to make the red wine, but this year is so prolific that and there's not enough water, so they don't grow. They stay very small. They have a dry scar, which means that sometimes they go on between the crusher and they come out. We cannot get the juice out of it in the press, and so we have to harvest a lot more to get some juice, but we got plenty, as you can tell. It's almost overcropping, which may damage the crop next year, but hopefully we have enough different varieties. You can see here, this is another variety that's green but keeps growing all year long. We trim a lot. We cut the branches, but we trim and to get them to grow close to the wire, because the way we harvest, we don't have a harvester. It's a manual harvester. You can see it down there. It's like a funnel that we put under this, and we beat the bushes with the stick, and they all fall down. They blow the leaves out, and we don't have a destemmer. We don't need a destemmer to take the stems out like the natural grapes. So this is uniquely muscadine.
The climate here is good for growing muscadine. So
absolutely.
Talk about why the climate, the soil, everything is here.
Well, absolutely. I'm originally from Switzerland, and I still have vineyards in Switzerland, but we had to go and spray every week, or every 2 weeks to kill the Pierce disease, to avoid the Pierce disease, to kill the plants. Muscadines grow naturally, so we only planted muscadine here, so we don't like to get up early in the morning, dress up in a spacesuit and spray poison on those, so it's very natural.
So too much water at the beginning of the summer, too little water through the summer, that's hurt you a little bit.
It affects different varieties. But we have 10 acres of muscadine here, so we just go out there and pick the ones that are ripe and sweet, and we just leave the other one. And then maybe next year they don't produce, so some other ones will produce.
Okay, John Copay here at Wills Creek Winery and Vineyards in Etowah County. Just like every other farmer, he has to deal with the extremes in weather, but the muscadines seem to be doing fine. For this week's Absolutely Alabama Weather Extra, I'm Fred Hunter.
Very interesting. And you know what? We are talking about more extremes going into next week, potentially our first frost or even freeze of the season. So those sensitive plants, we're going to have to think about bringing them inside. We'll have much more on that beyond the 7-day and some event forecasts after this break.
Remodeling a shower or bath can be tricky. With gas prices up and tight monthly budgets, cost is a real concern. But West Shore Home is helping homeowners get the shower bath they need right now. I'm joined by Kirsten from West Shore Home. And Kirsten, tell us, how is West Shore making bath remodeling affordable?
So Joe, for folks who want to get their bath or shower project done right now, we have a very special offer. We know that monthly budgets are a little bit tight right now, which is why we wanted to make this offer available to everyone. If they give us a call, we have 18 months of no payments and no interest financing. That means they can get their shower or bath done now and not have to make a payment for 18 full months.
So you're saying people can get their new shower bath installed right now and not have to worry about making any payments or paying any interest until 2024. That's really helpful.
Definitely. People love this plan because it allows them to be flexible with their finances.
Can we see some projects you've done recently?
Absolutely. So here's one where the homeowner wanted to replace their old fiberglass shower with something more new and modern. So we replaced it with a beautiful marble style shower with an easy low step entry and a beautiful shower door.
That is amazing. Perfect combination of safety and beauty.
It definitely is. So let's take a look at another one. These homeowners were struggling with mold and mildew from their old tile. They were tired of scrubbing. We were able to give them this beautiful new shower that is so much easier to clean. You can get a new shower or bath just like this when you call right now, and you won't have any interest or payments until 2024.
Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, do not put off that shower or bath project any longer. West Shore Home is making it affordable to take care of that bath project right now. West Shore Home is extending this offer for 1 week only. Free installation on all shower and bath projects. And for a limited time, they're doing 18 months of flexible financing. That's no payments and no interest until early 2024. This is an offer you don't want to miss. Call the shower and bath experts at West Shore Home now.
All right, welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Here is our 7-day forecast. And notice those temperatures tomorrow morning, certainly a lot colder there to start the day. Temperatures down into the 40s there early on tomorrow morning. And it looks like by the afternoon, though, back into the 70s with sunshine, more dry weather on Sunday. Sunday night and into Monday, that's when we're seeing a chance for some showers. This shows 20%, but rain chances may jump up to around 30-40% for parts of the area late Sunday night. And then we have the colder weather. The first alert for some frost possible Wednesday morning. That shows 37-39. There will be parts of the area where it will be down in the low 30s. Certainly a possibility there early Wednesday and Thursday. So we're giving you that early warning for that possibility of some cold enough temperatures to where we could see some frost. Notice tomorrow morning, not quite that cold just yet, but you'll still need the jacket early in the day with the temperatures down to around 42 here in Fayette and Jasper, 43 in Talladega and Anniston, and 47 in Tuscaloosa, Greensboro, also for Alabaster, Nemopolis early tomorrow morning. Clanton feeling those mid-40s, but what a beautiful day we have on the way. If today you tried to or thought about getting out there doing a little yard work after this, I know after the storms last night, it's been a while since we had the wind, the rain, even some cases had large hail that moved through with some of those storms. Probably had a lot of limbs and leaves out in the yard today. If you didn't get to it today, well, tomorrow will be a better day for it. The afternoon, not quite as windy, sunshine, and those highs you can see in the 70s. That's our Friday. Saturday looks good. Saturday looks like a dry day, highs near 80, so beautiful weather on Saturday. Sunday, that's the day we'll be watching for the possibility of a few showers. As Matt noted earlier, we're seeing the greater chances off to the west, but there's another front, and while the bulk of the rain is going to stay to the west of us, we'll get some clouds off of that and perhaps a couple of showers breaking out late, brief showers late Sunday night and into Monday. This is not the kind of system like what we saw last night as far as rain coverage goes. We had over 3 inches of rain in parts of the area. Not seeing that this go around, but a few showers possible late on Sunday. And then eventually we get a secondary surge of cold air that moves in behind this, and that's when those temperatures take the big tumble. That's going to be the big story that we're talking about next week. The high temperatures in the 60s during the daytime hours, but the overnight temperatures, let's walk you through this. Look at next Wednesday morning. You'll start to see 20s dropping as far south as places like Tennessee and even North Alabama, Tennessee Valley. A good chance that we'll have frost and a light freeze possible there during the morning hours next Wednesday and also going into next Thursday. Tropical Storm Carl doing exactly what we expected to do. No surprises here just yet. It is expected to track on south. It's moving south-southeast right now. And by the way, this will weaken a little bit as it gets close to landfall. Still a lot of rain, but hey, we're not talking about a Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane as this moves off to the south. It's far away from Florida and no impacts there for the Alabama Gulf Coast. A lot of events coming up this weekend, including Kentucky. We're going to check in with Mickey. We're going to have more on the football forecast and nice weather again Saturday going into Sunday. It's Sunday night and into Monday when we could see a few showers, and we'll be watching for those colder temperatures. And as we noted with the JP off the top of the show, the temperatures out there, and we're going to head over to meteorologist Jill Gilardi. Jill, this is kind of like
that clicker?
Yeah, I saw that. That was very smooth. Yeah, this is kind of an early frost, early freeze for us we're already dealing with. So maybe we're in for a really cold setup here in the weeks ahead. What do you see in the long range?
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing that trend for, weeks now, that there was that indication for below average temperatures, and it seems like that is going to end up panning out. In terms of precipitation, there's been a little bit of a switch, and hopefully we can start to trend to see a little bit more in here. But again, as we are looking ahead 8 to 14 days out, it's still compared to normal. We don't usually see a lot of rainfall this time of year, so at least we got a good amount over the past 24 hours. Now, in terms of our temperatures, look at this, Wes. Now it's predicting we could shift in the other direction. I was talking about this yesterday, that we would see that ridge of high pressure kind of slowly making its way eastward with time, and that trough where all that cooler air would be located will eventually shift out. So just because you get a cold snap, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule, doesn't mean that's the pattern going forward, because things can easily change, and they usually do. We see that a lot in the springtime. We're going to see it a lot, this fall, but certainly we have that trend perhaps starting to go in the other direction 8 to 14 days out. So certainly the weather in the south has us on our toes, and we're going to keep you updated on that. As Wes was talking about, we have a ton of events and sporting events as well happening, and Mickey has much more in those forecasts coming up after this break.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home.
WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
Being another set of eyes looking out for your kids and your family.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
Live, new, and on your side, beginning at 9 p.m., WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else on your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10, on your side.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
How will the weather impact your roads? The First Alert Weather app has live traffic updates and road conditions for a safer commute. This is why we First Alert.
WBRC Fox 6 News, on your side.
Let's take a look at what we should wear tomorrow. It starts out on the cool side of life down to 48 degrees. Some of our rural areas could be even cooler than that, so probably a jacket to get you started for the day, long pants and maybe a hat just to keep that chill off of you, but should be warming up nicely later on in the day. In fact, the Greek Food Festival is tomorrow. It's in downtown Birmingham from 10:30 till 9:30 p.m. And look at this weather. Absolutely fantastic. The wind's not quite as blustery as today. Southwest winds coming at you at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and temperature readings getting into the 70s. Plenty of sunshine to close out our work week. The Coleman County Fair, the weather's looking great for it as well. Tomorrow evening from 5 p.m. That's when the gates open, at 5 p.m. at the Coleman Fairgrounds. 70 degrees when the gates open, about 57 degrees when the gates close. You'll need a jacket or a sweater, something like that to keep that chill off of you. Got some football forecasts. These are all kickoff temperatures. We have, first of all, Friday night football, 67 degrees right at 7 p.m. Ole Miss is playing host to Auburn there in Oxford, Mississippi, 72 and sunshine. At the beginning of that game, you can see Tennessee hosting the Alabama Crimson Tide. 74 degrees there in Knoxville Saturday at 2:30 in the afternoon. And UAB playing host to Charlotte, 80 degrees at 2:30 down in Birmingham. So great looking weather for football. The 51st Kentuck Festival of Arts is Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in Northport, there into Tuscaloosa County. 65 degrees at 9 a.m. and cooling off to about 80 degrees. So it should be a beautiful day for that. If you're headed down to the beaches, well, pretty nice weather. Takes us all the way into the weekend. Lots of sunshine there. There's a 30% chance of rain that's going to be joining us on Monday, followed by a cold front, colder air set to arrive. So those highs dropping off into the 60s down at the beaches, and overnight lows in the 40s to low 50s. And if you're heading to the mountains, well, the rain chance is a little bit higher on Sunday there in the Smoky Mountains, about a 40% chance of rain Sunday and tapering off on Monday. But even cooler there with highs dropping off into the 50s next Tuesday and Wednesday. And those lows could be dropping below freezing. So hopefully you'll have a nice toasty fire going. While you're there at the mountains, at the beaches, or at any of these festivals or games, you can get the weather on the go right there at your fingertips, or snap a picture for us. But yeah, that's what it's looking like for tomorrow into the weekends. Never know how to end these things, but there you go.
All right, and we're going to be talking about that colder weather coming up tonight on the news. Again, you can see this weekend, maybe a few showers Sunday night, but looking pretty good there for Saturday and Sunday. Those highs in the 80s, just chilly, that fall chill during the mornings. Next week, again, some of the new data coming in showing that freezing line could drop in North Alabama there. So some really cold temperatures possible during the morning hours. You got time now to get ready. It's just a matter of time. You know it's coming, right? Some of that colder weather. All right, full forecast again tonight. Lots more on WBRC Fox 6 News at 9, 9:30, and 10. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tonight.